Hey guys, in the last video we resurrected some floppy disks that haven't been read since the 80s and early 90s, and we even found some software that wouldn't run properly as it was either CPU clock dependent or had graphics issues. So today we're going to continue the dig, but we're also going to boot up some DOS emulation to try and get everything working. Does anything still work? What will we find? Let's find out. Alrighty, so the first disk is Grand Prix. And it looks like it worked to read, so we'll just create our directory here where we're going to copy it to. And hopefully that'll copy across well. And it looks like GPEGA to run the game. Accolade presents Grand Prix Circuit. Copyright 1988. Accolade Incorporated. It's got a bit of a cool intro. We'll just skip ahead. Okay, so we've got some options. Single race, championship, practice. Oh, you can adjust the difficulty level as well. That's pretty cool. Single race, I reckon. Oh, you got circuits. Let's choose that one. And you've got car options as well. Ferrari, McLaren, Williams, Ferrari. What do we reckon? Go with the McLaren. Alrighty, we just skipped ahead there. We have qualified in first. Pretty solid effort there. Let's kick off the race. Oh, cool. The other car animations are, I'm not sure what I was expecting, but they're pretty cool. Okay, not much of a accident or contact animation. Just hit the car by accident and just stopped. That's okay, we'll try and catch up a little bit. Up the inside. But yeah, that's pretty much Grand Prix Circuit. Next up we have a disc mysteriously labelled Captain Comic. Got no memory of any game called that, so let's see what we get. And just skipping ahead, let's edit go.txt and see what we're dealing with. Okay, Central Coast Software Supplies again. Becoming a reoccurring distributor here with these discs. The Adventures of Captain Comic, The Plant of Death. Is that meant to be the planet? The Planet of Death, perhaps? It's a fast-moving arcade game with high-quality colour graphics. The captain's job, and you know who will accept it, is to recover the 3 treasures. Alrighty, just scrolling down. Okay, we've got EGA, colour support, type go. Okay, so that looks like a custom reader of the actual text file that we just had a look at. So we can skip this. And we'll try this executable. Revision 4 by Michael Denio, 1988. Sugarland, Texas. And there you go. We'll just skip ahead there. The Adventures of Captain Comic. It is the Planet of Death, indeed. It is only episode 1 though, so we'll see what we get. Okay, so we've got these cool little things to pick up. Hope you caught all those. Skipping ahead. Alrighty, so pretty good graphics, I reckon. Oh, there's birds for some reason. Hold on, if we're on the planet of death, why are there like birds? Shouldn't there be like aliens and things? Why does it need a spacesuit if there are birds flying around freely? Oh look, the graphics are pretty cool, and the scrolling is actually pretty nice. Jump mechanic isn't too bad. This fire mechanic, whoop, it's a bit rusty, but I just managed to get a bird there. Okay, so there's different pages to scroll through. And more birds, different coloured birds. They're a bit hard to hit, I've got to say, with my fireball. But you get the gist of it. That's Captain Comic. Next up, a disc labelled Garfield 1. This is a Garfield game, perhaps. So, Create with Garfield Deluxe Edition by Head Systems. IBM program by Chris Lamb. Copyright 1988. 1 DLM Park, Allen, Texas. There you go. Another game from Texas. I'm sensing a bit of a theme here. How to make a cartoon. Okay, so it's like a cartoon editor, or I'm guessing it's probably going to be like a print editor. Garfield's art kit. Let's see, picture did nothing. Is that because I haven't made one, maybe? Okay, so you've got the backgrounds here. I see what's going on. Let's get some stick-ons of Garfield. Okay, that's pretty cool. Let's go with that one. So you can move it around with the arrow keys. And then we will get Oddie running over here. And we'll get one more sticker right in the foreground there. And you got some props as well. Reach out and touch someone, food, exclamation mark. And, oh, you can write your own captions. Whoops, wrong button. There we go. Okay, they're in comic bubbles. Finished it. Alrighty, you get the gist. That's Create with Garfield Deluxe Edition. Hope you enjoyed that one. Next up, something called DR Halo. Oh, I've got files here from 1984. Ooh, and even 1980. Actually, I do wonder if that's the first available date stamp, maybe on DOS, on this version of DOS, because I've seen that on a few discs, 1st of January 1980. But we'll just copy the files across. And just skip ahead to setup. It is so it's Dr. Halo? Dr. Halo 3. We've got to select our computer type and our graphics device. Wow, that's a long list of graphics cards there. Hercules in color. Conographics 40. Quad screen. Sigma Color 400. A whole bunch of cards I've never heard of, but I do know IBM EGA. So let's use that, and we'll go for a larger option, I think. Pretty non-standard sizes though. coordinate display. Sure. One of these mouse options. And COM1. X resolution. Let's go with 1. Select cursor. Well, you've really got lots of options here, don't you? Oh, and the printer, I think we can just ignore that. 0 it is. And we've skipped ahead here. We've got our trusty Microsoft Serial Mouse. Okay, so it looks like a pretty nifty paint program. I do actually recall using this back in the day. Had some pretty cool fill options as well with backgrounds. Yes, that's right. You could get graphic editors in the DOS days and obviously before. But this is pretty much what we're dealing with. No Adobe Photoshop here. So I've got different colors. I'm really struggling with this mouse because it's sort of not gliding very smoothly on this wooden table. I don't think I'm going to win an art prize for this. Yeah, there you have it. It's a little attempt at a finished it logo. Won't go through all the features. I do notice it does have, what's that? Is it like a zoom function? Okay, it's like a finer pixelated option. It's pretty cool. And let's click out of that. Okay, so it's like creating a stamp, effectively. Bitmap stamp, that's kind of cool. Cool feature. Good for some pixel art, I'd imagine. But you get the gist. That's Dr. Halo 3. Next up, we had a disc called Digger. A bunch of different games on there, and one of them was chess. So Bluebush Chess. Let's go with novice. Okay. Alright, so that was a demo. Can we actually... What are the buttons here? I've got to say, this is probably one of the earlier chess games. It would have to be being released in 1983. Well, at least earlier chess games on PC. So that's probably a point of difference for Bluebush Chess. I'm not much of a chess player, but this one seems pretty nifty. You can play against the computer. You can take back moves, and you can play two-player as well. So yeah, there you have it. That's Bluebush Chess all the way back from 1983. Alrighty, next up we have something called XTree Pro, according to the label on the disc. See how this goes. Now I do remember a program called XTree Gold. I'm wondering if it's... Okay, XTree Pro version 1. Yeah, right. So this was basically like a menu / organizer before you really had, I guess, GUI-based OSs. These sort of in-between programs were pretty good. You could set up your computer to boot into them. Executive Systems, Ventura Boulevard, Sherman Oaks, California. And I do remember using XTree Gold a fair bit to navigate your folders and things in DOS. I mean, obviously you can just use DOS commands, but it's a little bit, I guess, better laid out. And we'll just skip the installation. Okay, XTree Pro. And is indeed XTree Pro. And here's the layout of it. So you've got your sort of, you can call this a tree or a tiered structure of your directories or folders on your drive. And yeah, basically as you use the cursor keys, you've got an Explorer tab below, so you can immediately see all the files in the directory, much like Windows Explorer, but for DOS. Super exciting. Now also there's directory stats, so you can see file sizes and things immediately on the right hand side. We've also got commands. You can rename, tag, view, execute, so you can actually just execute programs right in here. You don't have to type anything. There's even, I believe, a viewer where you can just edit file. Is that working? Yeah, there you go. So much like, you know, you're typing edit or using Notepad, I guess. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. That's XTree Pro. Pretty cool. Alrighty, next up. This doesn't look like the right disk cover for it, but it does indeed say Double Dragon. So, will this actually work? Yeah. Okay, so we did have one from earlier that we tried creating. When I say earlier, I mean in part 1 of this series. Didn't get anything working out of that. But I do have a bunch of these disks that are copied over. You know, some may have been corrupted over the years. I'm not sure which disk has what files, how they're exactly split between disks. So we'll see where we get to with this. Seems to be copying. Okay, and skipping ahead, we'll try running it. And it looks like it fell over. So we'll just clear the screen there. And I actually realized after this that obviously there was another disk called Dragon 2, which was meant to be disk 2, not Double Dragon 2. So let's take a look at that in emulation. So we're just in DOSBox here, and we've actually copied both those disks over to one directory, and we'll choose EGA. And drum roll. Whoop. Looks like it's working. Just adjusting the cycle count. (1988) Arcadia Software Incorporated. There you go. And some pretty sweet graphics. Okay, what are the keys to this? Man, I've actually got no memory of Double Dragon on the PC, I've got to say. Obviously, I own the discs, but maybe couldn't get it working. Who knows? But yeah, this port seems interesting. The controls are a bit funny. Just a bit of a button mash, but there is a bit of lag in between. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Lots of button mashing. Double Dragon on the PC. And next up we have another disc labeled Digger. Again, for those who have seen part 1, there were a few that didn't work in that video. Looks like we've got a file here called Moonbugs from 1980. Also Striker. Digger's also on here. But let's take a look at Striker. Just skipping ahead here. I did call the directory Digger because that's what was on the disk. So there's obviously multiple things on here. But we'll start with Striker by checking out striker.doc. Important. All of the following files must be in the default directory. Okay. 1985. Derek Williams. That's pretty cool. Thanks, Derek. So hardware requirements, PC XT with 64K bytes of memory, or a PC Junior as well. It's for the IBM Personal Computer Series. In Striker, the player is placed in control of a helicopter whose mission is to navigate various tunnels in order to complete. Yeah, there you go. some more information about how to play the game. And let's skip ahead. Alrighty, we've got a title screen here. Derek Williams, Doring Lane, Austin, Texas. Another game from Texas. Wow, you guys really were productive out there, hey, in the 80s. Okay, so that loaded very quickly. I'm going to guess this is... Yeah, okay, so there we go. Basically unplayable. So, what we'll do is, because it's tied to the CPU clock, we'll emulate it in DOS. So, here we are in DOSBox. Okay, we've just lowered the cycle count here, and it should actually be playable now. Let's run through Striker. I do remember playing this one, so let's see if I can retain any of that skill. Yeah, so this is like a side-scrolling shoot 'em up, or a shmup, I guess you could call it. Actually quite dig the controls. It's nice how the helicopter leans back when you go backwards and leans forward when you actually slow down and speed up a bit. And looks like you've got a fuel rating up top as well, so you've got to manage that. You can't just run through holding the forward cursor. Okay, so we've gotten past level 1. And this is where we shoot that. Oh no, okay, we've got to land. Ah, yep, and we'll rescue our people. Cool. Alrighty, there's Striker. And up next, a disc labeled Double Dare. Now, I do remember Double Dare. I'm sure a bunch of yous out there also remember the TV show. Not sure which countries got that on telly. But this was a sort of quiz game for the show. So I'll just copy this across. And looks like it's struggling there a bit. Oh no, it's still good. That's no good. Okay, so it looks like we've got a corruption on the disk. Some bad sectors. So we'll just hop out of that. And we'll copy across what we can, because it may still work. Alrighty, so we copied some of those files across. Yeah, sometimes these games work. Oh, and does look like we're getting a boot. Game Tech, Double Dare 1988. Would you like to play against the computer? Yes. Enter or space. There we go. No. Yeah, so sometimes you have corrupted files, and depending on where those files are accessed in the game, you may actually get partially through it. So it's good enough to demo at least. Now I've just skipped ahead because we did get a crash there quite early. Decided to give this a go in DOSBox, some emulation, slow down that cycle count to make it work a bit better. You can hear the music is working fine. Toss up challenge. Oh, I've got some graphic artifact failed there. Looks like it's still working though. We'll see if it gets any further after this screen. Trying my best to get... Oh no, the computer smashes me there with 4 zip. The Felines, your team wins $10 if something something. Which musical group originally starred Marlon, Jermaine, Tito, Jackie and Michael? It wasn't the Godfathers. Okay, so we get a go now. Will it work? Who was the first president to have a beard? Alrighty. Got that right. Which animal has largest ears? Goes elephant. feel free to play along at home. There were lots of these sort of quiz games in the 80s and 90s, early 90s that is. Ooh, I'm not sure about this one. But they were all very similar. There's this, and Family Feud was another famous one. Quite easy to make, I guess. But this had some cool like games in between. But yeah, that's Double Dare. Quite a classic. If you're into quiz games, check it out. And there will be a part 3 of this series. So thanks for watching, guys, and catch us next time.